ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear, known as America's top foundational health coach, with over 30,000 of my clients over these 4 decades that have been able to lose almost 1.2 million pounds of toxic fat. That is because we do it the foundational way. And in the COVID era, my clients have been able to reclaim, restart, and reinvigorate their lives, over 3,000 of them. And you know what the good news is, ladies and gentlemen? When you hear those statistics, they only mean one thing. Then the next pounds lost, the next health reclaimed can be yours. And we do this in all 6 pillars of human existence, starting with the spiritual pillar. That's where we're going to be talking tonight. For real, for real. It is going to be as real and raw in the spiritual sense that you're ever going to get. I guarantee you. And then we go into the physical pillar, mental, emotional, social, and financial. Those 6 pillars are the bedrock of anything. I can say that my practice, we go and do everything pristine clean, just like what we're doing right now with our 21-day mastermind over the next 8 weeks. You will be pristine clean from your poop to your brain. When everything is aligned, amazing things happen. What I do after my 4 decades now, that I am empowering the next generation of healers, just like Hulda Clark empowered me. And we'll probably be doing this for a while, ladies and gentlemen, just taking a curtain call on what we did last month. In less than 8 hours, Health-a-Pedia, putting together the pieces of foundational health, became an Amazon bestseller in all 13 companies now. Those countries we are going forward, from Amazon's markets to USA Today and New York Times bestseller by June 2024. Why? The writing is amazing. The stories are tremendous. But this is right on time, right now, because people are looking for this health. You see, it does begin with your emotions. I love what Helen Keller says, that I will not be captive and held captive to my emotions. I want to live my life in passion. And when my emotions are sound, my spiritual connection is secure. This talks about the spiritual foundation of health. It absolutely epitomizes my esteemed guest here tonight, who is no stranger to what we have here on Traverse TV, no stranger to YouTube, no stranger to what he has. Millions and millions of people have followed him along the way. But just like me, a little girl from small town Montana with the brown eyes and the ponytail, I just knew that I had a mission. You will hear my esteemed guest talking about just a son of a hog farmer. Everyone has a story. And you may be sitting on your story right here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, the story that you're sitting on, someone is waiting on. It could change a business. It could change a life. In this regard, I believe in the spiritual condition and the spiritual pillar of foundational health. You will hear this story, this man's story tonight, and it will change a soul. And that soul that was changed for me, as you know, here I have one bun in the oven, and I went to my La Leche League meeting. Now, frankly, I had a whole lot less filter in my 20s than I do now. I've tempered with age. But I looked at these expectant and these newborns that were with their mothers. And I looked in this refreshment table. I saw 2 food groups, and I just blurted out, are these additives and preservatives? I didn't know who I was saying this to. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the president of La Leche League International. And she said, so you don't like this spread? I said, no, I don't, because I don't like bringing that into my baby. If we're giving the breast milk as the best milk, why are we doing this? And she said to me and gave me a challenge. If you are so smart, why don't you do something about it? You're going to hear something tonight. Just do something about your walk, your absolute journey in your spiritual pillar, just like we're going to do every single week for the next 40 weeks. You can look at Health-a-Pedia 365, not only my YouTube rebranded name, but go on to Instagram, Health-a-Pedia 365. We're going to put shine, as my guest, my mentor and teacher, Jay Noland would say. We're putting shine on each of the 40 authors in the next 40 weeks of Health-a-Pedia on our Instagram account. You will be motivated, inspired, and you will be challenged. Just like I was challenged by that La Leche League International president. I did do something about it. I did something about it because I decided to get my first health coaching certificate. And in that, I wrote the protocols for expectant mothers and for ones that were breastfeeding, nutritional supplements and protocols that I can say humbly are still in the back of the protocol for La Leche League International. But nothing like having a couple of sons, because the reason we are here now was because of my youngest son. You will hear this story in a moment. But if you say, why not this? Why not me? Why not now? When I heard Hulda Clark, when I was just picking up my son from pre-kindergarten, and it was a back-to-school show with Phil Donahue, it was like she was sitting in my living room. That was a milkshake moment that I will never take back. It changed the trajectory of my life, my son's life, and the trajectory that I would be going on for the rest of my 30 years in health coaching. You see, what Hulda Clark said was, perhaps these children do not have a diagnosis. You see, my young son was given the ADHD diagnosis that put him in this box. I said, no. He deserves more than to be put in a box with psychotropic drugs and relegated to that diagnosis in your whole life. You see, Les Brown says your diagnosis is not your prognosis. And I set out an exhibition like I was the female Indiana Jones for the next 2 weeks. No internet in 1984, no nothing. But I had a desire, a hunger, as Les would say this, a burning desire to do something for my young son. And I found Hulda Clark. And you'll hear the story in our commercial break just for a moment. But I want to fill this bit in. As my 4-year-old son said to me, Mommy, if we find this lady, what am I supposed to do? And I said, I'll squeeze your shoulder. You just smile. Because he had these big blue eyes, these aquamarine eyes, and this cute little page boy, Dutch boy, blonde hairdo. It was a haircut. It was just adorable. And you see, when I found Hulda Clark, after asking and asking, if you are seeking something, especially in your spiritual pillar here tonight, what you seek, you will find. Just be ardent about that passion. I found Hulda Clark. The rest of the story is secure. She took Evan in, my son, because I just went ahead and he smiled on cue. She wasn't taking any more patients. But then after our life was changed, the trajectory was changed. After 6 months, I asked Dr. Clark to mentor me. She said, my dear, I'm 70 years old. I am retiring. And I said, what if I was the person to take your message to the world? Why not me? Why not you? You see, now in a short 4 months, I too am going to be 70. I'm going to be that 70-year-old woman who has taken Health-a-Pedia, bringing up the millennials and teaching for the next generation. You're going to hear the teaching. You're going to hear the beautiful, beautiful, absolute vision of our man in just a moment. But what we're going to do is that we're going to take a curtain call, not only for Health-a-Pedia, but we're going to take a curtain call for the 40 authors with Dr. Bernie Siegel, myself, Dr. James Marinakis, Jay Noland, who is my guest here tonight, Rex Sykes, Jamie Kerr, going on to Gary Sanchez, Serena Brown Travis, Dame Doria Cordova are our headliners, but there are people that have experience. As Dr. Jim Marinaka says, the people that have experience create expertise. And when they have expertise, their story is just as riveting as myself, who has this wonderful resume of decades, or somebody who's a noted author. You see, coming together in this collective is a community, as Les calls it, a community of heart-centered, absolutely servant-driven leaders. This is the movement of Health-a-Pedia. Take a look, take a listen before I bring on my guest, Mr. Jay Noland.
While being mentored and studying with the iconic pioneer in natural healer, Dr. Hulda Clark, and experiencing her life-changing practices and protocols, a goal card was written and dated in 1984 stated, "I will write the Eastern medical version of the PDR, Physician's Desk reference. The universe delivered a sign to actualize this goal. Now in 2023, we are experiencing vision and mission into fruition. Health-a-Pedia has arrived, led by the iconic 20th and 21st century icon, Dr. Bernie Siegel, MD, author of Love, Medicine, and Miracles, along with 42 extraordinary healing world changers that will motivate, educate, inspire, and propel you along your own path to wholeness, wellness, and abundance. Every compelling story will uplift you to your own epiphany of health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey."
Health isn't something you do. It's what you become along life's journey. And what I've become along my life's journey of nearly a decade now with my coach, my trainer, my mentor, and an absolute personal friend in the spiritual realm is Jay Noland. When I talk about life's milkshake moment, I'm just going to say, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. You know those times, just like Hulda Clark, it was like the Phil Donahue show brought her into my kitchen. I believe that the creator of all brought this man into my life when I was at a training and I'd already shook his hand. I was shaking because I shook his hand. But I remember that milkshake moment. He took my hand, he put one on top, he put the other on the bottom, and I just felt that energy. When you are the best, as my husband, Bob Bear, archaeologist, says, when you are the best, people will feel you. I felt Jay Noland that day, and I knew that we would have that feeling now going on a decade. One of the things he says in many of his trainings, you can't fake real. And you can't fake this. If we're going to have a little conversation, we invite you in. Feel the real so that you know, yes, his background is a professional baseball player, but let me tell you something. He took that platform known as Lightning, stealing those bases, drafted by the San Diego Padres. But what he was drafted into life for such a time as this. He was drafted into life so that he could be a pro at everything he does. It started with professional baseball, but it's gone on to be building absolutely global businesses, speaking and having in 90 countries with distribution, going ahead and millions of miles traveled as a corporate coach, trainer. I can say that he's got, not only is he the publisher and CEO of our book, MYB Publishing. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But he has businesses in health, digital marketing. You go on Clubhouse, it was just not a club. It's become a movement. That's maybe what MYB Publishing stands for. It's a movement of you being your best. Make you better is what it says, but it's a movement. XP Mentor is a movement. His health companies have been a movement. His digital platform and his technologies, a movement. Everything is a movement because the man moves in business like he did going around those bases, being called and nicknamed Lightning. And it was a great honor and privilege that I bring up my coach, my mentor, my absolute brother from another mother. Welcome back to Life's Milkshake Moments. You are my milkshake. Because we create moments, Jay Noland. We really do.
That's right. You know, we're having a delicious milkshake of incredible time together and just really reaching out to people, making impact. Wherever we go, we got to impact. That's what I love about Dr. Jody Bear. She's a person, a woman, a powerhouse of impact. And I just love spending time with you, Dr. Jody. What we got going on today on?
Oh, we're going to talk about the Jay Noland journey. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. Then we're going to take a break because I've got a little power of a woman. We got to bring shine on the book.
Wow.
To link into Health-a-Pedia 2.0. Don't you know? Women's Essence. Some of this is going to be in there. The power of the woman. Oh, yeah. Just bring people in for the first few minutes about the Jay Noland journey.
Man, you want to know, I'm 55 years old now, and I look back on my life, born in 1968. I was born about a month after Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. I was born in the South, and he was assassinated in the South. So when I was raised up, there was a lot of racial tension, a lot of racial strife going on in the South. And I can remember being a little boy, sometimes going to school, being chased by certain individuals, being chased and all these N-words held at me. And I was sometimes they try to rope me. I don't know if they were planning on hanging me or what the heck was going on. So good thing I was fast. And I think that made me faster, because I was running for my life, literally, and most people don't understand that coming from that background, if you can make it through that time, it makes you stronger, Dr. Jody. You really do become stronger. And then, of course, I had the time with my grandfather, Jim Willie Noland, out on that hog farm. And, when I look back, there's a lot of mud involved when you're dealing with hogs and pigs, a lot of mud, and it don't smell too good. And so thinking about me being in that mud, how I relate that is that anybody can come out of the mud. Anybody can come out of the funk of their life, and they can rise up to heights that most people will be shocked about. Like nobody in my family has ever even thought about that somebody could do and accomplish as much as I've been able to do. Mm-hmm. Based upon, I took action and I believed in what the Creator said. The Creator Yahuwah said, all things, you can do everything through me. And so I just keep going, my goal is to keep going.
and look at that necklace. Bring that up close. Bring that up close.
You want to see my necklace today?
I want to see your necklace. Bring that up big. Tell us about this necklace.
Oh, that's the name. That's the name of the Creator of all, Yahuwah. That's written in Paleo Hebrew. So it reads from right to left, or I should say, so from right to left in Hebrew. So listen, this is what I love about it, especially any of us, that are like some of the middle-aged folks. We know about the movie 10 Commandments. Oh, yeah. We know about Charlton Heston playing Moses. Masha, right? We know it. And I tell everybody, go back when you watch the movie again, you'll see when he's on the mountain and when the Creator's talking to him and he starts to give the commandments, he'll go, I am. And then he prints that name right there on the 10 Commandments. So this is the greatest word, the greatest name that's ever been. It's the name of the Most High. It's been suppressed over almost 7,000 times in traditional translations. And so those of us that became aware of the suppression, we are now reestablishing through his power, his name, which he said is to be proclaimed throughout all generations. So that's where a lot of power comes from. When you tap into the Most High, that's the highest power. Then you can get the power that the Most High has for us.
Well, and I love that when you tell that story, and it's a true story. And what year was that when you would type in? It was 2008. You would type in
2007.
Yahoo, 2007. You typed in Yahoo. Okay, very close to Yahuwah, and it was just Yahoo. And guess what? And hardly nothing came up. Now, what comes up now?
Now, what happened was once I found his name in 2007, you couldn't find it in any search engine but Yahoo. So there was no, if you went to Google, you didn't see Yahuwah's name in 2007. It's not that long ago, right? You couldn't see it. You couldn't see it back then. Excite was big, Alta Vista, MSN. You couldn't see his name. And so you could only find it in Yahoo, and you found about 4 or 5 different sites. Now you got thousands upon thousands of sites, and he's pouring out his spirit, and so everything, the awakening is happening. And I see you put the website there, which is a culmination of our study since that time. So 2007 to date, we've got rock solid, hardcore, real spiritual truth information on promotethetruth.com.
Just go ahead and do your research. You'll be happy that you did.
Yeah, and Dr. Jody, can I just say something real quick? Whenever you hit these subjects, a lot of people have traditions that they've been raised up with. I tell people, take a deep breath. It's okay if you didn't know it all. Like, take the pride and set it aside. Like, people think it's so crazy to think that they could have been tricked. Well, in the scriptures in Revelation 12:9 says that the entire world has been deceived by Satan. So take a deep breath. Moses, Masha, his real name, himself on the mountain, did not know that name when he went on the mountain.
He knew it
but
after.
then he got told that name, and he was told to proclaim it. And so we're just picking up where Masha left off.
Hey, and I just love doing that relay around the bases with this whole deal. So now, professional baseball player, we know we found the real name. Then, as I said, MYB Publishing, when you told me, Jay Noland, MYB, and I'm thinking, okay, it's got to have a good acronym. That couldn't be any better. Make you better. So digital marketing, multiple health companies, this movement of a teacher, trainer, global trainer. How did MYB Publishing come about?
Well, kind of like I was forced to do it. I've got several companies. I went through so much turmoil in my life. And here's what I found out. And if you are listening to this message, you should be able to relate to this, because only people of light are typically attracted to these messages. Mm-hmm. And those of us that are light in the world, the darkness hates us. Mm-hmm. And we can't understand it, because we're like, why would I wouldn't hurt you? Dr. Jody wouldn't hurt a fly. She has a problem killing a fly, so we're not going to hurt you, right? But it's those of us that are light.
Just get him out there. Don't swat him. Just get him out there.
Get him out. So we're not going to hurt it. We're not intentionally here to hurt anybody. But the darkness wants to hurt everybody. Yes. It wants to rob, kill, destroy. It wants to take everything you got, and it tries to do it in subtle ways. So those of us that are light, that have knowledge, what we do is we speak the light, and the darkness wants to douse us out. And so that spiritual pillar is so important in Health-a-Pedia and in life, because it's your foundation to withstand the darkness, to be able to actually excel in darkness. Mm-hmm. Listen, Weed, who we know as David, King David in the scriptures, when everybody reads Talim or Psalms 23, right? Right. Yahuwah is my shepherd, by the way, not the Lord. Yahuwah is my shepherd, I should not want. And it talks about, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Why would he be saying he wasn't trying to hurt nobody? Good. Why was it saying he was trying to work through the valley of the shadow of death? He said, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod, thy staff comforts me. And then he says something unique. It makes me get chills. He said in the real translation, you prepare not a table, a banquet.
The whole spread.
In the presence of my enemies. So those of us that are light, guess what? Stand firm, stand strong. Nothing can touch you unless Yahuwah allows it. Nothing. And when you walk in that faith, that's when you really walk in true joy.
And my goodness, count it all joy. I've seen you, I've witnessed it and everything else. And when we go ahead and look now, this is a former, we're going to take a commercial break here, but I will say Power of a Woman from the perspective of real men. It was such a delight to watch this come to fruition and to be on that Zoom with you when Les Brown says, yes, I will write that forward. It was one of those milkshake moments. You keep making some more flavors of milkshakes in my life, Jay Noland. I tell you what, and that Power of a Woman, there are about half of these copies list, but just take a look, take a listen to another of our global entrepreneurs' successful companies. And I'm happy to say that I have one of those hardcovers. I love what says in back here in the appendix. Jay is also a very accomplished entrepreneur, you think, and businessman. For the years, he has trained hundreds of thousands of people around the world to develop supreme confidence and self-esteem. Many of these people are now creating world-changing impacts and spreading positivity. The social consciousness is in their own communities. That's you. When I read that, Jay, and I put that book is 200 pages of goodness. It's your heart and your soul. And when we came together, we're going to take a few quotes that came, and you can go to Health-a-Pedia 365. That is our YouTube channel. As I said, it's right here that you can see Jay, because he's the CEO and founder of MYB Publishing, Make You Better. Yes. And because he was the first person to be writing in the spiritual pillar, it was only fitting that you came back here, Jay. I just got to say, I know 9,000 things that you could be doing right now. Thank you for doing that one thing with me today.
Absolutely.
Seriously. And so these quotes that came up and that are going to be on Instagram, and now they are again. This was your power quote, Jay. I believe spirituality is a deeply personal journey that requires us to consistently and constantly question, evaluate, and redefine our beliefs. So give us a tip around that gem, please.
Let's think about it. Spiritually, why do you believe what you believe? If you just take it from when did you first even recognize anything dealing with spirituality? Most people identify that with, mom, dad, or grandparents, aunts, uncles taking them to church or something like that. Excuse me. So that was their identifier of spirituality. That means somebody was imparting their beliefs on you, and then you, being a sponge, especially from 0 to 7, you're absorbing these beliefs.
Yes.
And then what I'm saying there in this quote is you got to go back and test it, and you got to redefine. So that when you say something spiritual, when it comes out of your mouth, I believe this, that's your thoughts, not mama's thoughts, not daddy's thoughts. That's Jay Noland's thoughts for me, Dr. Jody Bear's thoughts for her, everyone listening. Your thoughts have got to be for you, especially spiritually. So many people walk around blind, Dr. Jody, and we got to stop the madness with organized religion and spirituality that doesn't serve people and give them the empowerment that they need.
You know what I call this, Jay? It's kind of if you would put something on a copier, but then you don't take the original out, then you put another copy in there. And pretty soon you get a copy of a copy of a copy. You can't even see the original. That's what you have done with PromoteTheTruth.com. This is what you've gone to the origin of the things. We're getting the original to the best of your ability, the original copy, period. And that is your belief. So now I got another good one, because guess what? It all came out of you. Okay. Because your chapter is spiritual vision. I advocate for independence of thought in spirituality, for each one of us to build our own spiritual paths based on our understanding, intuition, and experiences. You kind of went over that a little bit, but maybe there's something else that comes back with that. And then quote number 3 is, this journey towards spiritual self-discovery that can bring about is a true sense of contentment. I'll get it right. Commitment, contentment, and inner balance. How did you find that inner balance?
You got to get happy. I had to be happy, period. There's no happiness without inner peace. There's no inner peace without a spiritual connection. So if a person says, well, I don't want to believe in a creator of all, and then I just ask them, well, how did everything get created? Well, it big banged. And I go, okay, let's just say it big bang. I don't believe that, but let's just say it did. Yeah. Then it started from something. That energy that started everything, has all that energy been used up, or is that energy sustaining life now? And then people go, well, it's got to be sustaining life now. I said, well, that energy that's sustaining life, you can't see it, but it's here. Mm-hmm. And so wouldn't you love to tap into that creative energy that created everything from the beginning?
Like the wind.
Right. Like, wouldn't you like to? And then people, they keep asking me, where you going with this? I say, take a deep breath. Would you breathe in? Air. Can you escape air? No. Then you can't escape that creative energy. Here's the issue, Dr. Jody. You can't escape the creative energy, good or bad. So whatever you think is going to create from the energy what you think. You think negative, you're going to get negative. You think positive, you're going to get positive. So when you have a strong spiritual foundation, you get to the point, I'm going to say something that's going to trip people out. Okay. You eventually get to the point where you stop being negative at all.
Yep.
You get to the point where you're never sad. You get to the point where you're never depressed, where you're never stressed out, you're never angry. You actually get to the point to where you think the way you want to think. That's deep spirituality right there.
Oh, and it's like what our great friend who has written in, and our colleague Rex Sykes says in the mental pillar, celebrate everything.
Yes.
Celebrate everything. And I celebrate just going through this inner balance. Yes. Just breathe in. It's the air. And as you speak on your title, it's the vision of spiritual success. And by the way, you see this guy in this wonderful suit coat or whatever. He's just as handsome in a picture as he is in person. Okay. The spiritual pillar is fundamental to an overall well-being of success.
Yes.
So if somebody's out there and they say, I don't have that inner, I want to be successful, and they're striving and they're looking or whatever, how do you come back and just go into that rather than striving to accepting mode?
I would first call on his name.
Yeah.
You know what I would do? I would test.
Don't even touch. Yahuwah. They don't even touch.
Mm-hmm. Your mouth, your tongue, your teeth. Your tongue won't touch your teeth or the top of your mouth. No. You won't do any hissing sound. It's just take your mouth, relax it. Yahuwah. And so they say that that's the thing that a child says with their first words when they scream out. Ah! They're saying Yahuwah when they first scream out. I would just test it. Like, rather than take my word for it, like, just call out and say, Creator, if your name is Yahuwah and you're there, would you do me a favor? Would you please speak to me? Give me some type of sign that you are the Most High. Like, ask him. I promise you, he's going to show you something. I don't know any person that's but you got to do it like a child. You can't do it with all this theory and philosophy and scientific. You just got to say, hey, could you speak to me and tell me about you? And then it's going to be amazing what happens after that. Like, you're going to get peace.
That peace that passes all understanding. I just want to promote the truth up there one more time. And yes, this is Jay's and Lena's company, MYB Publishing. You've been there supporting us. We just figured out a way today that we will take this book to New York Times bestseller by June 2024. And what an amazing impact, because health isn't something you do, it's what you become along life's journey. And we're becoming this through the spiritual pillar. And I want to kind of switch gears here. I think you probably know a thing or two about this next commercial break that we're going to take from one of our sponsors. It's Personal Performance Institute and Dr. James Marinakis. I think you might know a thing or two.
One of the best of the best.
You were there with Robert Towns, one of the best of the best. We only have the best around us.
Yeah, it's our crew. So when you watch this is MYB Productions. You know, this is the output. It's what we do.
This is what we do.
Especially when we're connected with people like Dr. Jody Bear, who always brings you the best.
Yes, we do. It's the best of the bear. So let's watch with Dr. Jim Marinakis and a little bit about Personal Performance Institute, one of our sponsors for our next event in Boca Raton in February.
The main reason I believe people's health is declining globally is because they don't do the things every day that they need to maintain themselves. They don't walk enough. They don't get enough nutrients. They accumulate way too much stress. They don't expose themselves to nature. They work under artificial lights that damage the rods and cones of their eye, their brain, disturb functions of their liver. Everybody wants to be free from disease, and they want to enjoy a long and happy life. At the Personal Performance Institute, we teach you how to do exactly that. It starts right in the beginning. The very first things you'll do, which are simple instructions, will improve your health, and they will make you feel better about yourself. Not believe that you feel better about yourself, but actually feel better about yourself. That's what the Personal Performance Institute can do for you.
As we said, one of the best, and your crew put that together. I tell you what, it just thrills my soul that, as we said, we're not just going to experience health. All right. Why experience health when we can actually, do you really want to learn about it didactically? No, I said that backwards. You know, when I get excited, sometimes that happens. That ADHD, that dyslexia teaches in. So what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, we're not just learning didactically. We're going to sit here and take some notes. We will experience health in February. Wow. This is a program that Dr. Jim Marinakis has taken people through for 45 years. You've been through his intensive. I have as well.
Woo! All I got to say to people is woo!
Woo! And we're going to woo with 150 people. It's in Boca in February. We are doing this experience. I said, why learn about health when you can experience it? Be in Boca. So you want to, this is the first time this has been debuted. You want to see what your man Robert Towns did for this? Let's just take a look at this one. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
Why learn about health when you can experience it? Experience it in beautiful Florida in February 2024. Join us for 3 days of integrative and intensive health and healing education and empowerment with the expertise of the following Health-a-Pedia author, speaker, and facilitators: Dr. James Marinakis, Dr. Joe D. Bear, Kimberly Meredith, Dame Doria Cordova, Rex Sykes, Dr. Gary Sanchez, Jamie Kerr, and more. Experience daily morning walking and yoga, interactive participation, panel discussions, and more for your own epiphany of health. Get your tickets now.
And so did RT do good?
And we rock, man. You know, our team is tight.
With this British accent, just for Jamie Kerr coming over here from the pond, and from the pond, he said, "I have to meet you down in Florida. I've got to take my new bride to Florida." So we made the men's version. There's a woman's version, but it's an every person's version, because yes, we're going to walk every 2 hours. You espouse that, don't you?
Yes.
Because sitting in this COVID era is the new smoking. And you're going to feel that difference. We're going to give some of your company, we're going to see that in just a moment, Vibra 360, we're going to give them some of these products to experience and go through the James Marinakis protocol. After we do an hour with them, then Rex Sykes is going to come in and talk about life on your terms. You see,
and think about, I mean, this is so power packed. You know, as I'm watching Dr. Jody put this together, I endorse this 1,000,000% because I've had personal. Dr. Marinakis is one of my family's personal doctors.
Yes.
Myself, my wife, my son, right? My son's never had to take any vaccinations, any drugs, any of that stuff. 8 years old, vibrant. You want to know why? Because of being under the care of people like Dr. James Marinakis, Dr. Jeffrey Wright, all these phenomenal doctors. But this protocol that I'm seeing, Dr. Jody, I didn't know y'all were going to make this completely interactive, huh?
Yes.
That's another level then.
Yes, because you know how you go to seminars and you get all that stuff and then you need to sleep. Like Jason Estes and Jeremy Hoffman said, I said, you need to sleep for a couple of days. And they said, no, a month. I said, well, they're millennials. You don't need to sleep. But this is going to be that integration of doing this. Right. Meals from the farmer's table.
So actually living the training.
Living the training.
Wow.
Living the training with a weight loss panel keynoted by Dr. Michael Pierce, who does it like we do foundationally. Wow. And he's a brain mapping specialist and foundational chiropractor. And we was going to be doing some studying with Dr. Jim. See how this is just interwoven.
This is
great.
The
4 people on the weight loss panel, Jay, the 4 people that are authors in the book, you know, there's a chapter called Be a Bestitarian.
Right.
Yes, I did have to. It's a little self-effacing. But when you see a picture of Carol Darrigan at almost 400 pounds, and then you see her at 150, that is being a bestitarian. See, that fits with make you better. Yes. What is being a bestitarian? When you see we having recipes back there that are totally vegan, including the green miracle drink, of course. Your wife, Lena, does not have to put cilantro in it if you don't like cilantro. And that
we love cilantro, so we're good.
Okay. It's that Melanie Summers that doesn't like cilantro. She's like so. But I remember at a time, Jay Noland, you didn't like cilantro in that smoothie. You know why? Because you were acidic. Now you're
see, but now once you start getting it in you, you start craving it.
You crave it because it's what your body needs. This is what we're going to do. We're going to crave and take 4 people on that panel, Jay. Collectively, they have lost over 1,400 pounds.
Gosh, dog.
Okay.
Huge.
And yes.
You made me say a country word. Gosh, dog.
Oh, there's always a new word that's coming up here. I mean, it just, there's a whole different phrase. If y'all are with the King's English and hearing that British side, then we have, gosh, dog. So there's going to be a variety, but to go ahead and hear those stories, to go ahead and hear Carrie Fisher speak about how she didn't decide to wait until she was in remission from her breast cancer. Rather, she wrote a story about how the healer is getting healed. And I have a great praise report because when she started writing her story, and ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a new book. It's Ladies Before Gentlemen. Women's Essence is our next book. It's 2/3 filled out. This summit, Jay, has only got 80 tickets left. And we haven't even started. Better grab them now. Grab it while that early bird price, because there will never be another one. Then we take it to Colorado. This isn't just writing books. This is a movement. We want to have health-aligned, community, spirit, love-centered, driven people that want to take this, like Dr. Michael Pierce. We're going to be up in the mountains. Lita's going to like this one. We don't go to the mountains in Colorado in the winter. No. It's the summer. I don't do snow. Summertime. Then we're out in Los Angeles with Jason Estes and Jeremy Hoffman's largest rooftop spa is in the middle of downtown LA. It is a totally renewable spa. That's where our second one. So this is what we're doing. So when you heard the name Health-a-Pedia, and you know that we're doing these summits, and of course it's going to be off the hook because I have a great mentor that puts on the best events ever. You don't do anything first class. You will not allow your student to do anything that's second class. So I want to thank you for that and your guidance and tutelage. But why should they be in Boca? I saw your eyes light up. Gosh, dog.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I've been through the experience. Me and my wife went through this 3-day protocol with Dr. Marinakis, and it changed everything. And it will bring, I tell you what, put your seatbelts on, because it's going to bring some deep-rooted stuff out of you. that has to come out, or else you're not going to go ahead. You're going to learn philosophies that work. I guarantee it, that you're going to learn stuff that works. You're going to learn lifelong things that you'll use in your day-to-day life that you won't forget. A lot of times you go to different seminars or events, you forget stuff.
Yes.
The people that you got lined up here, I personally know most of these people. You're not going to forget this because these people are experts. I mean, Rex Sykes, for goodness sakes, used to put on massive multi-hundred interactive seminars back in the day. He's like one of the grandfathers of personal growth, law of attraction. So, you know, Health-a-Pedia is here. HAP. Help a person. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And as far as that goes, helping a person, of these 40 authors, of course, because we've spent nearly a decade together. But Jay, when I say all roads lead back to Jay Noland, all but 6 of these people in these authors, speakers in the book. Now, 13 countries in 6 hours. It would have been 4 if Amazon hadn't shut us down. I didn't know why we didn't have any sales, because they thought it was AI, that was a bot. You know what Dr. Jim Marinaka said this? I guess apparently Amazon does not know the difference between artificial intelligence and artistic impression. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna be that way, man. You know, we're helping them out. You know, we're putting that pressure on the system. Our numbers are so big globally that, you know, we put that pressure on these systems. They're like, what was that? It's kind of like, you know, once you really start learning how to hit, you know, financial success, and you start getting those big deposits in your bank, and it's like, bam! And then your bank calls you up and go, what was that big old sound that happened in your bank account? You know, it's that effect, man. It's
money hitting your pocket. And speaking of money, Dame Doria Cordova said today that she will be here in person if she and Chris are in Maui. Wow. They're not in Asia. So she's working her magic. She's working. So just be in Boca. There won't be another time. And one of the reasons to be in Boca, if you might just, Jay Noland, you just might know this company. It's one of your major health companies. It is a sponsor of our summit, the Health-a-Pedia. Yes, it's 1.0, but I'll tell you something. They ain't nothing like this good ass coffee. That was none of the spike, none of the crash. Let's take a listen to one of your companies, Vibra 360.
Yeah.
Well, didn't want to go. Let's just, I guess they wanted. So what we're going to do, that this product line is so streamlined, Dr. Jody approved without a shadow of doubt. They're not going to have that convention coffee. I know they're going to have some good ass coffee. Yes. We're going to sit down with that alkaline coffee, know how to feel and whatever. So we've got a few more minutes. You know, I just love hearing you speak. I love when we had our virtual summit, 21 hours, and you brought it home and you were talking about the breath and the wind. Yeah. Because starting out with the spiritual pillar, Dr. Jim was talking about the physical pillar. Yeah. Dame Doria Cordova is Life's Milkshake Moment next Thursday, talking about the financial pillar and everything else between there. But just give us some of the best of Jay Noland. It's always good, but just go ahead.
You know, I'll conclude with this. I know we're wrapping up and I got appointments to run to. Dr. Jody, like when we're here, we're here. Then when we're gone, we're out here hitting it. Let me tell you something that's very important for you to understand. Wallace D. Wattles calls it like this. There's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, which in its original state, it actually permeates, it penetrates, and it fills the inner spaces of the entire universe. A thought that is held in this substance, which is air is everywhere, produces the thing that is imagined by the thought. As a human, we can literally produce thoughts, and then by impressing those thoughts upon the formless substance, which is the air, we can't escape it, can cause the thing that we think about to be created. I want to encourage everybody to put more energy into thinking the way you want to think, not how somebody else told you to think. You got messages around you every day telling you it's okay to vent out. It's okay to have a tough day and a bad day. No, it's not.
No.
That's not the way you want to think. That's not natural.
No.
So what you've got to be able to do is start doing what you were naturally created to do. How do we know? Look at an acorn. If you plant it in the ground, it's going to do everything in its power to become a grown multi-100-foot oak tree. It's not going to sit there and feel guilty. It's not going to sit there and go, oh, I'm having a bad day. It's going to fulfill all its energy is into maximizing its potential. So everything in creation, birds, dogs, horses, right? Trees, everything in creation spends all its energy in maximizing itself. And the only beings on earth that don't do that are human beings because they were trained to do that. So look at the words, human beings. What are you being? That means we got a choice. Human beings are the ones that got this choice. And so we're going to maximize our choice by thinking the way we want to think. You got to do this consciously. You got to put the time, the effort, the energy, and the work in. If you plug into my systems, my tools, I'm telling you right now, you're going to learn to think the way you want to think. Fact. And you're going to stop being so prideful, and you're going to stop getting your feelings hurt so much, and you're going to start being happy. We teach you how to be happy no matter what. And that's what we bring to the table. Let me tell you what helps inspire me. This woman right here. How can she be almost tapping 70 and running laps around the world? All these 20s and 30s. Y'all know Dr. Jody will swim up and down the coast and smack sharks upside the head. She don't play.
Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Hey, that's who she is. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud to be here, Dr. Jody. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my goodness. When you said that about the acorn, your friend, I'm thinking, is it Marshall? What?
Marshall Davis Jones.
What will you put into the ground? In the ground.
You tell the sun, I want all your power. You tell the rain, I want all your power. You tell the wind, I want all your power. So I can be all I need to be. Woo!
Boy, and what you put into the ground are seeds of greatness, not only in me, Jay Noland, but in countless tens of thousands, probably millions of people. But it's for me, it will always be that first handshake that I felt. That hand of mine was an acorn. And I'm so glad that that hand has stayed here with you. Now, almost a decade, what we've been through, but what we're going to go through is just the beginning, because that's what we've done with things that never would have happened. Because you took that chance. Ladies and gentlemen, take that chance. Take your chance on your spiritual pillar. Do your due diligence. And I'm just going to say one other thing, because he's like, but that name, I think, Jay, I called you up and I said, is Jimmy there?
I am Jimmy.
Oh, you are. That's not a good one. I can't do that. No. Is John there? I'm on the phone.
No, ain't no John up in here.
It's the wrong name. That's all we're talking about, that we get the right name. Right.
If I called up and said, is Justina home?
No, you got the wrong. It'd be Jody.
My favorite one to end this, to understand the power of the name, is when Jody was talking to a lady named Barbara. And she says, what if I called you up and says, is Bieber there? Bieber. Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Yeah, kind of came, and maybe what Vibra came from that you just don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That thinking stuff that's there. So make your thinking stuff, ladies and gentlemen, have that milkshake moment of when you know that somebody had your hand right here, right there. I am so, as we say, love you with all I got. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being MYB and making me better. Ciao for now.
Love you, Dr. Jody. You're the best.
Yes, you are. You made me the best. So, jnoland.net, Noland official. He's only got 100,000 people on Instagram, but it matters not. He will be there for you. Now, this is what I want to end our spiritual time together right here, the spiritual pillar. Mind your spiritual pillar, because in that spiritual pillar will guide you everywhere else. And in that spiritual pillar is what we're talking about with my mastermind that you can still get. If you're watching this live, there's still room. We've only had 1 week to go. Just DM me and you can reach out to me at drjodybear@gmail.com. You can find us at Health-a-Pedia 365. You can certainly do that as well. And on our wonderful, wonderful Instagram site, you can find us everywhere. Why? Because we want you to be the best that you can be. You see, when you go ahead and you find people that are your like mind, that's soul tribe. This is what we found in this book. But here we've got another, Women's Essence. Why did I pick that name? Because it's the spiritual pillar. Ladies and gentlemen, and women, you know what I'm saying. We don't even go to the restroom by ourselves. If we're in an event and say, oh, I've got to go to the ladies' room. Anybody else want to go with me? It just happens. It happens together. We happen with this together. We will do this. Women's essence is a spiritual word. It is a spiritual word. So we get down into our spirit, rising up like the phoenix. We are the spiritual beings, the hub of this world, just like Jay Noland's book, The Power of a Woman. We will quote that in the book. We will have women's essence because we are that spiritual pillar. So reach out to me at drjodybear@gmail.com. We'll give you information. You can also go on my website and you can check it out. It's health-a-pedia.net. If you just go to the main website and go here, drjody.com/books, you'll find everything. Everything is about you and relationship. Everything is about what you will do in your spiritual pillar. Make it, as I said earlier on in the beginning, when you're emotionally sound and spiritually secure, nothing can stop you. So go to this. I knew I would find it. mybooks.to. Health-a-Pedia is here. Make sure that you get your tickets to Health-a-Pedia, the event. Be in Boca. Why learn about health when you can experience it and come away with more tools, more life tools than ever before? And with food from the farmer's table, the first organic farm table restaurant east of California. This is what we're going to feed your body, your mind, and your spirit. But didn't you feel absolutely like you were fed tonight? You have, haven't you? As Bernie Siegel says, faith is the most important factor in the world. When your faith is from the spiritual world and enters your personal world, there is peace. So I would just ask you to just feel that peace. Feel the real. You felt it. Hearing the incomparable, the one and only Jay Noland. But guess what? You're incomparable too, because only you can do what you can do. Go about it as though your life depends on it, because at the end of the day, it does. Les Brown says it is necessary for you to do what only you can do. Only you can do. And then he goes on and uses this quote, then go about it as though your life depends on it, because in the end of the day, no one can do what Jay Noland does. No one can do what Jody Bear does, but no one can do what you can do either. Just be that real, feel you're real, so that you can have your milkshake moment, not just one day, but every day. My personal power quote in this book is, miracles occur every day, just like that handshake. And I felt the real. That's what a life's milkshake moment is about. just seeing these miracles occur every single day. And the rest of my quote says, beckon them in, beckon your miracles, beckon your life, because so you and can be the best that you can be. So until next time on Life's Milkshake Moments, which will be Dame Doria Cordova here, and Monday with Arthur and Daniel Zhu, our sponsors with Live Freely, I'm going to say, just make it a healthy, Health-a-Pedia kind of day. This is Dr. J saying ciao for now.